Anybody that's listening to this, watching this, or is going to watch this in the future, please understand we are not trained medical technicians, nor do we give a fuck about health. Hence the name Two Drunks in a Bottle.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from the top of the silk. Welcome you to Two Drunks in a Bottle. It is time for our event of the evening. I got a question for you fans. Are you ready? I don't think you heard me because I didn't hear you. Are you ready? For the heavy attendance and the watching around the world. Let's go. The main event brought to you by Cheers Wine and Spirits out of Hernan, Mississippi. Introducing in this corner, this man stands in 6 feet tall, weighing in at 97 pounds out of Greenville, Mississippi. Hunter, and also his partner in crime. This man stands in 6 inches tall, weighing 190 pounds, fighting out of Helena, Arkansas. Ronson, down to the beam, Raiden. I hope that was okay, guys.
Man, they don't call you the hype man for no reason, do they?
Right.
Yes.
He got me hyped up.
He got me hyped up.
Make you want to fight?
A little bit.
A little bit. Like,
Think about throwing the table.
think about throwing this table.
Well, so guys, this is David. Mike and Haddon.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to Two Drums in a Bottle.
Yeah, good to have you, man.
Appreciate you inviting me on.
I appreciate the intro.
Yes.
Definitely a first for us.
Definitely a first for us.
Nice.
So you picked Old Charter.
Yeah.
It was the bottle that you picked.
Are you familiar
Are
with?
you familiar with Old Charter?
It's my go-to. I don't drink a whole lot, but when I do, right there, that one right there, that's my pick.
Okay. I bet.
Well, you want to do us the honors? We always pour the shot first, and then we'll get started into some drunken stories.
Oh, okay.
See if you got any on Old Charter.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't say that I do.
At least the ones that your statute of limitations are
Yes.
ran out on.
Yes. Yeah. Y'all say when. I'm not used to fixing anybody. Shots. Obviously, I am not a bartender.
Good point.
That's like a good pour for me.
Pretty sure they're.
Pretty sure they're all even.
Yes.
So what made you choose Old Charter?
Like I was saying, I mean, it's just a go-to for me. It's not something very pricey. It's kind of middle of the line, at least in my opinion. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Smells good. I know
It
that.
smells good. I know that.
What's your favorite way to drink it?
Well, usually if I'm gonna have something, I'll have that, and I'll just have it straight. Just in a shot.
So you're
Just in a shot.
neat.
What we've been doing is
What we've been doing is like over ice and
So we do neat.
everyone said we do
Especially
neat, especially we don't do shots as much anymore. I mean, except doing like the podcast now,
We kind of brought back.
we kind of
shots.
brought back shots, but
We're kind of more.
yeah, we're kind of more over ice at this point.
For me, I think
For me, I think
prefer, like, my
I still
mixed
prefer
drinks.
like my mixed drinks though.
Probably write a song about shots.
All right, well, let's take her.
Cheers. And your thoughts?
Almost kind of
reminds me of like a Jameson.
It's definitely heavier.
It's definitely heavier than the
It's
Jameson.
good.
I mean, it's good.
You're a little spicy.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
It is not Jack.
No, not Jack.
Sounds familiar. Familiar. Huh?
So he's started to go back and watch our podcast.
Yes.
And was quoting me at one point saying, "Oh, you remember that time you said you did this and this? Remember when you were taking shots of Jack, but they were actually Jameson?" Oh, dude, you legitimately went back and watched like whole episodes.
Because I do all the clips and stuff, and I know for a fact that wasn't one of our TikTok clips.
You didn't watch the first one.
You didn't watch the first one, though, did you?
I've gone back to some
Okay, I was
I've
saying.
seen on YouTube.
Yeah, the
Good
first
job.
one was
Because
rough.
the first one was rough. It was before we had all of
Okay.
this.
You can continuously see us grow.
Oh, yeah.
as we go forward. Like our first episode, we were in our gaming chairs. We had one boom mic in between the two of
Definitely a nice
us.
setup. Definitely a nice setup.
Yeah.
Definitely try to get.
We definitely try to get it a lot better, especially like improvement wise. So.
Overall, I'm betting it's going to taste a lot better over ice.
Oh yeah,
It's definitely gonna be smooth.
it's definitely gonna be smooth. I think.
So drunken stories. You got any? At all? We need to shut the door.
Oh no, there's definitely some stories that I have through the years. They're probably more so from my teenage years, though. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. There haven't been can't recall any from adulthood. But yeah, unfortunately, I was able to access a lot of things during my teenage years and even adolescent years. Yeah, I do have one. I guess you want to hear it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, dude.
But I'll go back as far as I can remember. I recall when I was living in the Memphis area, probably in about fourth grade. A lot of times, my stepdad would have folks over to watch NFL football on Sunday. So, needless to say, a bunch of guys sitting around watching football, and there's Budweiser sitting on tables everywhere. Well, I was a little kid that would go around and picking up those cans and drinking out of them. So at a very young age, I remember going to sleep very early in the day on Sundays because of that, and it happened quite often. So could I say it was drunk? I would just say it was a nightcap. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's probably one of my more polished source. Yeah.
Polish. Yeah.
Like that. You got any, Hunter? That you want to tell tonight?
None that come to mind.
None that come to mind really.
What's the ones
I've told already.
One I think of.
It would be close to be like the Hawaiian one, to where we had a bottle of Jameson, and it wasn't really so much me. It was a group of my friends. They had the day off, and they went and grabbed a hotel,
and they were drinking
pretty much all day. Now I had to work, and I didn't get off till like later, probably about say 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night.
And I remember getting this message.
They were like, "Hey, you got to get off the show.
Come see us. Like
we're at this hotel." I was
All
like,
right, yeah, bet.
"All right, yeah, bet."
I show up and
walk in. They got all these beer cans and bottles just laying everywhere. I'm like,
all right, now
imagine this is two people, just two guys just hanging out.
They didn't clear
But they didn't clear all this. Now I know people have been like in and out, helping them drink, but still.
And they were like, all right.
And they were like, all right, we need help with this one of these bottles. We have like 3 or 4 bottles left. We're just kind of passing them out. They're like, we did about half from this bottle. They hand it to me. That's a bottle of Jameson. Jameson is one of my favorite. It's something I can really go down for.
We actually shared
a bottle last night over a fire. So
when they called
me over, they're like, yeah, we know you like Jameson. We're like, we're wondering if you could finish this half. I was like,
yeah. I was like, give me a minute.
I'll sit down and chill with y'all.
Just drinking that
We're
bottle.
just drinking that bottle.
I got back to the beach.
Met up with a couple other people, and they were drinking on like just beers and stuff.
And that Jameson
started kicking in. I was like, all right, let me start getting back to the ship, because I could already feel it, and it was a good walk. Like it was a good, probably 10-15 minute walk.
By the time
I got back to the ship and made it to my quarters,
I remember just passing
out. I made it just in time. But I mean,
That's one of the ones I can
that's
kinda
one of the ones I can kind of get
made
off
me
of that
think of
bottle. It made me think of Jameson in a way. So I guess that story would work out.
We kind of got lucky because
They used to check y'all.
they used to check y'all going on the ship.
couldn't be-
Like
you
you
couldn't
couldn't
be-
be, you couldn't be a certain,
You couldn't be a certain
you
drunk.
couldn't be a certain drunk
To me,
level.
it-
Like,
To me, it
being on
reminds
the
me of you being on the streets and
If a cop
drinking.
is standing
If a
out
cop
there
is
and they
standing
watch
out there and they watch you,
You pretty much
are
just
you
all
pretty
over
much
the
just all
place,
over
or
the
you
place,
walking
or are you just
normal?
walking normal?
And that's pretty much how they
And that's pretty much how they
looked at
treated
you
it.
and
If they looked at you and they knew you were
kinda
kind of
fine,
fun, they weren't going to mess
come
with
in
you. But
acting
if
a
you come in
fool
acting a
just 'cause we have
fool, but just
guests
because
and
we
stuff
have guests and stuff
well,
on the ship as
they'll
well,
pull you off
you know,
to the
they'll pull
side
you off to the side and,
you're
you
in
know,
trouble at that
you're in
point.
trouble at that point.
But I mean, yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it's still a thing that you got to be careful on. You can't just go get hammered and go back to the ship because you can get easily in trouble.
So mine
mine would have to be. I don't even think liquor was involved. I think it was just a beer night.
We had multiple
beers. It
beers.
was three of us,
And we had
multiple types of beer in the fridge. I think we had a Heineken,
Big Corona Extra,
Big Corona Extra,
and Bud Light.
and Bud Light,
All in the
all in the fridge.
we had this big fire.
We had this
pit,
big fire pit, cast iron fire pit.
So,
Nice too.
Like, it would glow
once it got hot.
And
And
you know
how
cast
cast iron is. Like
once it's hot,
it's
Yeah. Good luck.
So I remember us playing
leapfrog
leapfrog on these stumps that I had cut. We had some trees fall. And I cut all these stumps, and we're jumping on them.
Here
Here you are, almost 30-year-old guys
jumping
jumping on stumps like they're little kids.
Well, we end up getting off.
Of those, and we were talking or whatever, and I somehow stumbled back and burned the hell out of my leg. But I remember double fisting
beer.
the beer.
Yep.
I had a Heineken in one hand and a Corona Extra in the other.
Literally
Poured them both up at the same time. Why I thought that was a good idea, I have no idea why I thought that was a good
I
idea.
think we just had a chair with a whole bunch of these bottles kind of laying there. We were just trying to knock them out, and your ass just kind of grabbed them and went for it.
Yeah,
Don't recommend doing that at home.
Yeah,
Especially after what happened.
especially after what happened. Yeah.
Leave it to the trained professionals.
All
All right, so y'all ready to move into some general conversation?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and
pour
ice and
get some ice
Make our old
and
fashioned.
make our old fashioned that you requested. Hands are clean, I promise.
I'll see if I can't share Facebook.
Good.
If y'all are good with that.
Oh yeah. Guess I need your glass, honey.
Passed it to me. Just take it back. Huh?
Sorry.
Is it live on Facebook?
We are,
It's on
we're
YouTube.
live on YouTube.
Oh,
I can
yes.
send you the link real quick.
Yeah.
Here, let's. Why do I not have share option? There we go. There. There you go. So you said you haven't had a good old fashioned in a minute.
It's been a minute.
So we went with a mixer. I've never had a mixer old fashioned.
I've had the regular old fashioned that you would get at a bar. You know, the bartenders over there whipping it up for you. But it was only like one or two that I remember having. So it's been a while as well. So it's kind of weird to see like with a mixer now to see how it would taste.
Yeah. I've never actually had order. Yeah. Fashion. This will be a first.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how it would taste.
Handy dandy pocket knife.
Itch.
You need a couple more ice cubes. Let me know.
You all right for now?
All right, so how'd you get into MMA announcing? What got you into that?
Well, that's quite interesting how all that transpired. So it all started back with several years ago. I had some friends that I went to church with said, "Hey, would you mind coming and opening up the prayer at one of these MMA events at the Lander Center?" Well, how I received that was something like what I used to do for wrestling, like WWE and AEW. I would go to locker rooms and share devotions with guys, and I thought that's what was going to happen. So fast forward, I said yes, and I go to the Lander Center. I'm introduced to the promoter of SEFC. His name's Danny Shell.
That's who it was, Danny Shell.
Yeah.
That's Bang Jim, right?
Yes, yes.
So that's what I was telling you last night. I couldn't remember his last
He
name.
kept saying Danny McBride, and I was like, "That's the
I thought it was a
actor,
big
I think."
something.
So I meet him. Then I'm taken to where my VIP seats are, and then I was escorted to the octagon and said, "Here's how it's going to go down. It'll be lights, camera, action, national anthem. We'll be saying, and you'll do the opening prayer." In that moment, I kind of freaked out. Say, "Wow, seriously?" Well, after that, I go and I sit down in my seat and enjoy watching the fights. And I was asked to come back several more events. And then, fast forward to probably about 5 events, I was asked to be the announcer. I said no. I do not like public speaking. As a matter of fact, every time I'm going to get in front of people to speak, whether it's teaching something or anything, I feel like I'm going to vomit. Even this, right? So I was like, nope, not going to do it. And they're like, "We really see something in you. We think you could do it." So I said, okay, I'll try this out. As soon as I announced the first 2 fighters at this one event, I come out the octagon and Danny said, "Tired." I laughed.
Right.
Thinking, no, well, I'm not saying I'm making a living off of it, but actually, ever since then, I have been announcing MMA fights, one for SEFC and also for NWFA out of Arkansas. So there's been many events in North Mississippi and Arkansas, and even been asked to go to Colorado. But through all of that, the nickname, the Hype Man, came up because I would get in there, I would energize the crowds, I would energize the fighters, and that's how it all came about.
I knew when I was standing over there and, waiting for my name to be called, like I was just kind of like pumped,
Yeah.
so I could feel that. Yeah.
Well, you answered 2 questions in one.
Awesome.
Come on, guy.
My bad.
Was it truly how the Hype Man came about?
Yes, that's it. That's
Wow.
it, man.
So do you still get that sick feeling to your stomach now?
Not now. Once I get into the zone, once I step in, I step out, and it's just boom. It's time to do this. Lights, camera, action. We're doing it. No turning back.
So do you still have nervous moments like beforehand where you're
yes.
kind of like stomach in knots
Yes.
a little bit?
Absolutely.
I get that way depending on who our guest is on the
Yeah.
podcast.
Once you get a couple of drinks in you, I think you chill out though.
Yeah. Well, dang. So have you ever partaked in any MMA fighting?
No, never. Can't say I've never fought. I did that plenty of times, but in MMA, I think I'm probably past that age now. I'm not saying I couldn't do it, but I will say this. One night, my wife and I were sitting in the living room watching some MMA, and she looked over at me. She said, "I'm glad this wasn't out when you were younger." I took offense to that. Like, I'm still young. And I said, "What do you mean by that?" She said, "Well, in your early 20s, because I know you would have done this." So it's like, oh, okay, got it. So yeah, if I had a chance in my early 20s, I would have definitely been in the octagon.
So who runs the SEFC?
SEFC, the promoter is Danny Shell.
So that's your main objective or main expertise is with them though, right?
Yes, for
Like your main focus
well,
when it comes to announcing?
yes,
You do
for the
the
most part,
most
yeah,
events with them?
That's the hometown team. I'm part of that family. Absolutely, when they call, they say, "Hey, we got this event coming up." I'm there.
And you've got another podcast, from my understanding, coming up.
Yes, absolutely. And sometime in May, you will see me on another podcast.
Nice.
Yeah, got invited to be on 2 around the same time.
And that guy has ins and outs with MMA fighters right?
No,
No?
he's a motivational speaker. He does counseling stuff. He does events for leaders. He's also a professor at Southwest Tennessee Community College, former EMT, and also have served in our military.
Thank you
Nice.
for your service.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So, with the SEFC, when's the next event going to be at the Landry Center?
Great question. Hi, shameless plug here. SCFC 30. The 30th anniversary is June 15th at the Lander Center.
30th anniversary.
Yes.
You heard it here.
Dang.
Yeah.
May check that out.
Yeah.
Promise you, you would love it.
If you're in the Mid-South area and you want to check that out, check it out. You go on Lander Center's website and get tickets more than likely here soon,
Yes.
if not already.
And if you're wanting to buy VIP tables, Danny Shell's the guy to get with. And you could go over to Sidecar Cafe right now, and I bet he would be willing to take your money and reserve your VIP tables.
So what does he do at Sidecar Cafe?
He's running that show over there.
Really?
Yes.
I still have not been over there since they changed over from dang, what were they
Burley's,
called?
Or I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
Burley's
What-
Bar and Grill or
No,
something
it
like
was before that. Billy Crumley would go over there and do crawfish for them.
that. Okay.
But it wasn't Burley's at that point. It was something else. I think it started with an F. Oh, the filling station.
Yes.
When it
that's
was
right.
called the filling station.
You're right.
That's been quite a few years ago.
Right.
So, have you? What are some of your bigger name fighters that you've announced for?
Oh, good. There is a host of fighters. It's hard to just.
Any of them
rank
that have
them.
made it just big?
Yeah, I know with SCFC there have been a ton of fighters that have come through and made it to the big times. Let's talk about some right now, like Dustin Poirier, big name in the UFC. He's actually fought on a card for Danny Shield. Then you got Ben Parrish, Big Tuna, fought Bellator. Awesome guy as well. Both of these guys, if you ever get to meet them, very humble, but I promise you wouldn't want to get in the cage with them. Then there's Joshua Wide Open Wings. He's also been on the Contender Series, fought, but all three of these guys have fought for multiple promotions. But those are just three to name right off the bat. I've even over in the NWFA promotion, the first time I got to announce for them in Batesville, Arkansas, guys, Chris the Crippler Levin was a special guest referee, so flew in from California to be there. That was awesome. So there are a ton of fighters. I could go on and on about all these fighters that have been announced, but those are some that I've been able to work with.
You were telling me about him. He came, like you said, from California. He brought a fighter with him from
Yep.
California.
To fight in the main event.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
You got one for him?
So, with all the fighters that you have announced, will there be any fighters that you haven't met that you would like to meet?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Matt Hughes would be an awesome one. I've got a book of his that I've read at home.
Take it
But
easy, Hallie.
That is one of the fighters that I've always admired. I mean, for a guy to come out to Country Boy Can't Survive, he got me right off the bat. Right? But just knowing his beliefs and what he stands for, and just a down home guy, he's awesome. Another one would be Bryce out of Arkansas. You know who I'm talking about? Bryce Mitchell. Probably seen him. Oh, you got to watch this guy. That would be another fighter. Yeah, there's a ton of them I'd love to meet. What about you guys?
I'm really not much into like the fighting scene. Like I'll watch like the big fights that come on or whatnot. I think the last big one that I remember watching was with Anderson Silva.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, with the leg and there. Yeah, I remember that one. I think that was like probably the last one that I went to like to a bar and hung out with all the guys to watch one. But yeah, I really don't watch it. I guess religiously.
Yeah.
I'll may turn it on and see a fight and kind of watch through or go through like some clips or whatnot.
Okay.
I really can't say I have a favorite fighter.
Yeah. I got you.
My guys would be retired is the bad thing. Chuck Liddell would be one that I would love to meet.
Mhm.
Frank Mir would be another one that I'd love to meet. Forrest Griffin would have been another one. A lot of, to me, OG fighters, just about like Chuck Liddell was a monster.
Yeah.
maybe throw Brock Lesnar in there when he was decent in it, when he was a monster in his game, till he had that foot of his intestines taken out and it kind of put the dude down. Which actually leads me into my next question for you. What are your thoughts on some of the crossovers from UFC to WWE? You know, you've had Brock Lesnar, you've had Ronda Rousey, you know, now you've got Logan Paul going from WWE to boxing and going back and forth.
Yep.
What's your opinion on these crossovers?
You know, I find it fascinating that they're doing these things, but it even goes back further than that. People like Tank Abbott did the very same thing. And if that's what they want to do, I mean, they're all trying to make sure they're providing for themselves and their families. I don't see a problem with it, but I bet it's quite challenging for them to get in there and to not really just beat somebody down.
Right, that transition phase.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You know, it's got to be hard, like taking a smack and not having the knee jerk reaction to say, "Oh, dude,
Right.
Yeah.
blood is about to shed."
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That does have to be a little rough. I
Yeah.
don't know. Like Ronda Rousey, her going over to WWE. You know, I don't really watch wrestling anymore, but to have someone go from like the real thing
Yeah.
to the staged gimmick, like
You didn't just say that.
like it's real. Like
Yeah.
they're taking licks,
Wrestling's real. People are fake.
but it's still a staged gimmick.
Mhm.
You know, UFC, MMA, like all that, like that's legit. Them dudes are giving it their all and putting their lives at risk.
Yeah.
WWE, yeah, there's still risk
Oh,
involved
yeah.
Yeah.
with
there's-
everything that they do.
Yep.
But to go, you know, like you had said, it has to be hard to go from doing the real thing
Yes.
to
Absolutely.
doing the staged gimmick.
True. Because yeah, I mean they do a lot of like risky stunts. I would say like jumping off, you know, the top rope to land like outside of the ring and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There can be some, you know, real issues with that.
Oh, yeah. Taking a pile driver by Jerry the King Lawler.
Right.
So, how many people associated with the UFC have you met?
Goodness. One, at least 3 or 4 right now.
Any you'd like to divulge names on?
Oh, yeah. Well, the one I mentioned, Josh Weems, that's one. Krista Crippler, Lieben. There's been several. I'm yet to get to go to one of the UFC events, but one day. And Bellator as well, and maybe even bare knuckle fight. Yeah, that was pretty intense.
Yeah, I
There
believe
are no
that.
gloves.
What do you think about that slap challenge that they've got?
Man, I'm not up for that.
Can't even think. It's what is it called? I can't even remember what it's completely called. Like the Dana White has his hand in it.
Yes, he does.
It's pretty legit.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
watched dudes go like be knocked out
Yep.
in one slap.
Yeah.
Faces get distorted. Yeah.
It was what, your father-in-law? Is that who showed it to us?
Yes.
Yeah, that was. there's some intense moments in there. You know,
Yeah.
you watch those, you're like, you know that hurt, and they're
yeah.
still standing. That's what gets me. There's some of them where you're like, that should have took them out.
Yep. Yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that one.
Because there's like two power slap. That's what it. That's
It is
what it
power
is.
slap?
Power slap. But there's like 2 or 3 different versions of it. You got the big one, and then you got a couple of smaller ones. And like the big one, I think like they're holding onto these grips.
Yep.
There's another one where they just hold on to this like stick,
Yeah.
and if you drop the stick, you're done.
Hmm.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Not
thank you.
into that one though.
No, if I get slapped, it's time to throw hands. Somebody's
Hey,
going
come
out.
on, you can announce on that.
I would announce on it. Yeah.
I mean, you got to think too. If I'm right, you know, it's on the same side each time. So
Yep.
like, you're still getting hit in that same spot. You're
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about it swelling up. That's
Yeah.
That's tough.
Oh, thank you. I've seen guys and ladies do it.
Yeah, I've seen the women fight, and it is rough on that one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pass it over to you, Hunter. Let you ask a few questions.
Sure. Pretty much like when it comes to like MMA and stuff, would you say for most people is it easier or not easier, but like more of a favoritism to either participate or to like spectate?
Oh, wow. I mean, for anyone to participate in it, they have my respect. For anyone to step foot inside of an octagon to throw hands, they have put in a lot of training, made a lot of sacrifices. So, is it awesome to go as a fan and be a spectator and cheer them on? Yes, it is. But no one, including myself, truly knows all of what they put into sacrifices they make, time away from family, just to get in there and take that next step in their. They have my absolute.
But, also, so, like we have all these podcasts that are coming out around surrounding MMA and stuff. One of the biggest ones I can think of would be like Joe Rogan that I've kind of come across. Are there any other podcasts that are related to like the MMA that you would like to be on?
Oh, I think maybe BJ Penn.
BJ Penn?
Yeah, he may have one. But any of them, if I were ever given the opportunity or asked to come on, yeah.
He's retired, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember seeing quite a few of his fights.
Yeah, I remember that back in the day. I was pretty sure he was retired.
Yeah.
What about referees? Who would be like your favorite referee
Oh,
in the UFC?
In the UFC, I don't necessarily have a favorite. Big Dan was pretty cool, but referees, there's not.
What was it, Yakamoto?
Oh yeah,
That was probably one of my favorites. Like any match that he did, and then what's the black guy with the dreads?
Oh, yeah, I remember seeing him a lot.
I can't remember his name.
I could say it any other time, but because you asked,
I can't think of his name.
Yep.
Those are like my two favorite refs to like ref those matches.
Yeah.
Because they'd let it go. They'd be like, well,
Yeah.
I ain't getting that man off of that man.
Right.
But there are other referees that I've been able to work with that they are amazing to work with. They get in there, they call the shots right down the middle, passionate, they're energetic, and they know how to fight as well.
Are you still current on WWE?
I do watch a little bit of. Matter of fact, me and one of my sons went to a WWE event here in Memphis not too long ago.
Okay.
Asked me to go. So absolutely.
Like with WWE and stuff, like I know you probably heard like the side fights and stuff that usually come on. I've known a couple of people that are around here. They have like the little, I don't want to say small necessarily, but like they have some of the external stuff that you would see at a WWE match, but it's like their own little thing.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. How would you say that they would get attention?
Are you saying like maybe like a smaller promotion?
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Oh yeah. It's real hard for them. I know a friend of mine that had a promotion called Redeem Wrestling, and there were times that he had big draws and would bring in big names like Chad Lell, who was also Gunner in WWE. Brought him into an event here in South Haven. It's quite a challenge for them to do those things and maintain a full-time job. So, just continue to follow that course until it runs out or until it blows up into something bigger. But yeah, it is a challenge because let's say, for instance, with wrestling in general, not MMA, Memphis was the hotbed for wrestling throughout the years. Mid-South Coliseum would be packed full. You had WMC TV, Channel 5, every Saturday. That would be slam full of people. And now we have multiple smaller promotions competing with each other here in the area. I think what would probably be best if they start collaborating, working together instead of just all the competition. Because there is a lot of backstabbing in it. There is. And I know wrestlers right now that are probably watching through my Facebook post. They would agree with me on that because I see them talking about it. I hear them, and we're messaging and texting each other because I'm connected with several of them from the area. And yeah, it's pretty dirty.
It's like back when ECW would take over like SmackDown or Raw. Would come in and completely take over the show back in the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
Just the collaboration of a different brand coming in and saying, okay, let's work together.
Right.
Absolutely, I agree with that. I think that if they collab, like stop being against each other, let's work together, and you could probably make something big.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, most people would want to see stuff like that too, because if you take a fighter, say from this one, take a fighter from that one that they really like, and put them together, like that right there is going to be a match.
I remember growing up, my uncle and my oldest cousin would go to the Lady Luck
Okay.
over right before you get to Helena. You know, it was in Lula. Go to the Lady Luck Casino and watch wrestling there. They would put on little small gimmicks up there at that their little auditorium.
Yeah.
So wrestling big in the 80s and 90s in the Mid South for sure.
Yeah.
There's still a couple of big promotions in this area. I would say big. They're definitely not as big as what they once were.
One of Jess's uncles owns a local wrestling
Yeah.
company here.
Okay.
I can't think of what his brand is at this moment.
Ones that come to mind: Memphis Wrestling, Bluff City Wrestling, and Crossroads.
Because I know he actually wrestles in his promotions.
Okay.
But he's also the owner of one of them. What is his name? Is it Justin? Can't think of his name. I'll have to get with my mother-in-law and find out.
Yeah.
I think it was one of those three though.
Dustin
Maybe.
Wrestling. Dustin Starr.
No, not Dustin Starr. I know Dustin Starr and Maria.
Yep.
I know about them. Follow Maria on Facebook.
Okay.
So, hey, I'll get back with you on that.
Maybe Crossroads. And there's there's Bluff City Wrestling too.
So, what's your opinion on the Logan Paul Mike Tyson
Ooh, that's a good one.
upcoming fight?
2 words: money grab.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. It's a money grab. Now, for both of them to get in there and go through all these different rules that they're having to fight under, it's insane. But yeah, it's a money grab. But I'm looking forward to seeing Mike Tyson in there. Logan Paul, okay, he was an annoying YouTube guy and he has made it big, and so has his brother.
Yeah.
But you know what? These guys are out there trying to make bank.
Yeah.
I don't understand how the Pauls aren't canceled after that dang
Yeah.
forest that they went into.
Oh
You know, I was telling you about that
Yeah.
because you didn't know. I don't think you knew that part
Didn't know
of
that
like
part.
why he was going to be canceled. But literally, yeah, it should have been canceled.
Yeah.
But somehow it just made it bigger and bigger.
I mean, it gets me though. Is like when you
Like, kudos
plan
to
on.
you.
It's like when you plan on picking a fight though. Like Mike Tyson. That's who you're.
He's called out quite a few people.
I know.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson just. He's there. He answered.
Yep. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's a money grab.
And then
Yeah.
Logan's been making like the ear references and stuff, like having one of them plastic ears in his mouth, and
Yeah.
it's like, be prepared to lose yours, Mike.
He's asking for it. It's,
Oh yeah.
The bad thing is Tyson will give it to him too.
Oh yeah. He's going to.
I mean, Mike's not a young guy anymore, though.
Was he in his mid-50s? Probably.
I do believe so. I mean, you know, the most you've seen him in here recently would be like the Hangovers,
Yeah.
the Hangover movies.
True.
He's real behind the scenes of everything. He sticks to himself. He's not really out there. He's one of those that's not really like putting his nose into the politics scene. You hear him putting his 2 cents in with politics. As far as I know, you haven't heard any like allegations or anything coming out with him. He hasn't been a part of the cancel culture.
Right.
He's been lucky with that, not being a part of that, or even the Me Too movement. Like we brought that up on the last couple of podcasts, having the Me Too movement and the cancel culture. He's been lucky not to be involved in that.
I mean, still though, even with his age, like a swing from Tyson, I'm pretty sure that's right there is deadly. Like it is gonna hurt.
They don't call him the Iron Man for no reason.
Right.
He used to not like himself whenever it was time to go fight. He did not like that guy. Himself.
That tells you something right there.
Mm-hmm.
A boxing legend, and you want to go in the ring with that man.
Yeah.
Who did he call out? He called him out, and he didn't even want him in a boxing match. He was like, I'll go in the octagon with you, and we'll go in the octagon. It was here recently he called someone out and wanted to go into the octagon with him.
Was it Conor McGregor?
What? Oh,
It might have been.
I think it was. Did him and Connor did fight, didn't they?
Well, I think no, Connor and some other guy actually fought, but they boxed. Yeah, I don't remember exactly who that was.
Yeah, we looked at it a while back, but it's been a minute.
He did call out about 6 months ago. He called out Conor McGregor to fight
It
him.
was.
He beat a guy named Dylan Danis.
Who was it that Connor boxed? Hated Street. Who also crossed over to W. Go against the Big Show.
Oh yeah, that is right. Yeah, I mean, he's picking out some of the worst ones right now. I do agree, it is definitely a money grab. I think it's got to get attention on itself, if anything, but it's a risky move.
It is.
I don't know if I could do that. Like, if I were to pick out fighters to get my name out there, I don't think I would go for them. But I mean, to him, though, I mean,
If I knew I would be getting paid $1 million or more to go in and box, get an octagon, okay.
yeah,
Knock me out, but don't kill me.
right. Let me get a chance to spend a little bit of the money
Yeah.
first.
He fought KSI.
Who was it that McGregor went?
He went against Floyd. That's who it was.
Mayweather.
Floyd Mayweather.
Yes.
He fought KSI twice. I don't even really know who KSI is, but he fought him twice. Went 3 rounds with him the first time, 6 rounds with him the second time. Went 6 rounds with Dylan Danis and was disqualified.
So with Paul right now, does he have any wins underneath his belt? Like, I mean, with that
Right
be?
now, it shows he's one win, 1 loss, and 2 decisions.
Jake and there's Logan.
Logan, yep.
Logan is in WWE. Jake is fighting.
No, Logan's fighting.
No, I think it's Jake.
Is it Jake Paul that's fighting?
Yeah, I think it's Jake.
And is currently the Intercontinental Champion.
I didn't know that. I knew Jake Paul was fighting like stuff like that, but I didn't know about Logan.
Yep. And Prime is sponsoring. Another money grab.
Yeah.
Yep. Jake Paul.
Yeah.
So with Jake, how
My
many
bad.
how many wins there is it? Is that how you looked up, or was it Logan's wins?
I looked up Logan's.
Okay.
I get them too confused.
I do too.
Yeah, just kind of curious on that one though, because if he's gone out some of these big
He's-
names, you better have some wins. You
Oh,
know?
yeah.
He's 9-1.
Okay.
6 wins coming by way of knockout.
So he's getting some then.
Yeah.
At least he's not like fresh out the gate just asking for it, you know.
Mhm.
But yeah.
I don't know why they have that like that. They had that Floyd Mayweather was 19. I think they had a typo there.
Yeah.
Logan or Jake was 24, 2 boxing fights, 2 wins. He had 2 KOs. Floyd had 1 KO. That's what it was Floyd had said, let's go into the octagon. I'll fight you in the octagon.
Yeah.
And he picked the boxing match. Had over 2 million in fight purses. Floyd only had 10,000 in fighting purses.
Oof.
Rounds boxed. Floyd had six rounds boxed. Jake had 3. And then, hey, apparently Floyd. Oh, he was 19 after 2. Okay, he was 19 when he first boxed. That's what they were getting at.
Okay.
So his last fight was in 1996, and then Jake's was in 2020.
Wow.
It's definitely gonna be worth the watch in this fight.
Oh yeah,
It's gonna be a lot of people watching this.
I wouldn't mind tuning in.
Yeah. So with like everything you've seen, like with MMA and stuff like that, would you ever think about doing like a podcast, like having your own podcast and being able to talk with the fighters, while doing, say, the announcers?
I think that would be pretty neat, especially with a lot of the folks that I've got to work with locally, whether it be referees, photographers, promoters, people sponsoring the fighters, the coaches. That would be awesome. Is it, especially post fight,
Mhm.
just to sit down and talk through what went on.
Right.
And what did you see? What did you learn? Because that's it. If you're winning or you're losing, it's a lesson learned.
Yeah.
Either way. And yeah, I think that would be awesome. Is to have some of those guys on, ladies on, and just talk.
Yeah. I mean, because you're pretty much already there. You pretty much experienced like the fighters being around you and stuff. To me, that would be like a welcoming, like, okay, well, I know him. He just kind of, threw me in the ring with him, announced me in. I mean, to do a podcast with someone like that, I think that would be a good thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who would you say was your like inspiration for announcing?
Oh, it's hands down, Bruce Buffer.
Yeah.
Hands
Saw
down.
that coming.
Yeah.
Hands down. The jackets, the passion, all of it.
What gave you your slogan? What gave you "Let's Go"?
Let's go is just something started saying every time I was finding out about a fight and the fighters that were going to be on a card and just chatting back and forth with promoters. And I'd say, let's go. Now it's expanded out to let's go with multiple G's and exclamation points. And there are shirts actually being made.
I think you've showed me a couple
Yep.
of some of your different styles.
Yeah.
Specifically, one of them that you had showed me, I had said, you'll have to show Hunter. I was like, because he could even say, like, probably call it out. I had said that I thought of, dang it, NWA.
Huh.
Do you recognize what it looks
It looks kind of familiar, but I don't know if I'll be able to get it.
like? So for the viewers out there, if you can see that, it says let's go. You probably know Run DMC.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, I wouldn't have gotten
Run
that,
DMC
but
logo.
yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
A little inspiration right there.
Yes, absolutely.
He listens to a little bit of gangster rap.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff and yeah, people don't know about me. Yeah.
Hey, everybody's got their stuff to listen to on that.
Yep.
Listening to Run DMC before he goes and announces a fight. And I'll let you pour your own over ice. And we'll get to the last little part of this. It was great having you on, David.
Yeah, well,
I,
it's good to be here.
I appreciate you coming, showing up.
I mean, introducing us in as well. I mean, that was a thing. I wasn't expecting that.
That will be a clip forever.
Yeah, because you had told me you were like, he wants to do this. I was like, oh, okay, I guess this thing. And you come in with the card asking all these questions. I was like, okay, so we're doing it legit.
Yes.
I like that. That kind of got me
I'm
going.
going to get a copyright strike because he copyrighted Let's Go. So I'm going to get a copyright strike.
It'll be okay.
I'm gonna have to ask him to get that copyright strike removed. Give me permission to have that on there.
All good.
So our famous last question that we always ask everyone. So I'm gonna word this two different ways for you, pretty much.
Okay.
So what was or is your favorite video game and why?
Wow. The irony of this question and the conversations that we've had. If I were to look back over all video games that I've played, and I've enjoyed NASCAR games and MMA and wrestling games and Donkey Kong and Contra, but if I go back to anything, even Mario Brothers, I go back to one game and I just enjoyed spending time on, trying to overcome obstacles and learn the different patterns and trying to get better. It would be Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Punch Out.
Oh, okay, that was a good one.
Figured it was gonna be fight night.
I was thinking it would be the opposite. I was like, I don't think he's gonna go right in with that, but I do like Mike Tyson's Punch Out. That was. It's been a while since I played that.
Yeah,
That's
same.
wow.
Like you said, like having to learn the patterns and the mechanics and trying to overcome the obstacles and stuff within it.
You got fighters that are scoffing and mocking you. You got a coach that's trying to coach you on to get better. And then you got to see, all right, what's coming at me? Got to dodge this, overcome that, and eventually get to the main goal.
I might have to pull this game out and try to play it again.
Dang emulator.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Like I said, that, to me, that's one of the classics. It's not a classic that a lot of people would just choose right off the bat, but when you hear it, you're like, I remember playing that. You
Yes.
know. So I do like hearing that. That's wow.
I want to play it now.
Yeah,
I
I'm
got
thinking the same.
NES, let's go.
I'm trying not to repeat myself, but yeah, that's what I'm thinking about right now.
Yep.
We'll have it before you leave.
Yeah.
If anyone can get it before you leave, it'd be Hunter. We'll play a couple of rounds.
Yeah. So with Mon, I guess there was a game I have picked up. It was an older game for me that I recently started playing again. If you watched our last episode, you saw that we kind of went old school and picked out some of the older games that we played. But after going through like the emulators, I was sitting there picking up console games and was going through my list. I actually stumbled upon an older game that I forgot about, which was Sly Cooper. I don't know if you remember that one. That one to me was one of my games. I played it. You play as a raccoon who's pretty much like a thief and stealing. Now it does have like a lot of good stuff. Like his like villains pretty much stole from him, so he's stealing it back.
Yeah.
But it brought back a lot of memories from my childhood. I was like, I remember playing this game. I was like, I got to get back into this. So I spent about I'd probably have to put at least 2 hours in so far of going back and playing through it.
Wow.
And I'm not like, I think I'm gonna stick with it. I think I'm gonna keep on playing it.
And that main character was what again?
Sly Cooper, he was a raccoon.
I wonder if there's a correlation to Guardian of the Galaxy.
I don't know, could be.
Could be.
Huh? There, I just sit there and thought about that. Like, wait a second, raccoon.
I mean,
Yeah.
Huh.
you see on the wall, we've
Yeah.
got the Avengers, all the Marvel characters, and then all the DC characters
Okay.
hanging on the wall.
Yeah.
So we're fans.
Yes. Nice. Like it.
So mine would have to be, and we've talked about it before, but it just does not get old for some reason. It continuously, like you're updating the mods and stuff on it.
Yeah.
And it's gotten like it's just a cakewalk for me and you. Like when me and you go in and we're playing, it's just continuous grinding. Lethal Company.
Yeah.
So you fly in on a spaceship and you were hired by the company, and your goal is to go inside of these buildings and scavenge.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you're scavenging these different parts and items, but at the same time you have to watch like what you're doing, because you have monsters that could potentially get you. You have like a bracken, as they call it, that he'll just grab you and pull you away,
Yeah.
take you back to his hidey hole. And then you've got like loot bugs and the blob, Thumper.
Yeah. There's a lot of them that get you. And the cool thing with it, they all have their own little uniqueness to them, you know. Like he was saying, like the bracken is pretty much all, dark. You can't see him. All you see is like glowing eyes. And he's pretty much following you all over the place. And if you're not watching him, he'll just grab you. But if you look at him, he'll back off. But if you stare at him for too long,
Yeah.
he'll just run after you and get you then. But they all have like their own little ability that makes it pretty much hard. So when you get surrounded by a couple of them, you pretty much know you're screwed. But yeah, like he said, it's the game that you could pretty much pick up. It's like a different experience every time. And especially if you have more people playing it,
Yeah.
that's a whole new experience there as well.
That's a Sunday game for us. Like we'll sit there
Yeah.
on Sunday and I'll live stream 5 hours. It's easy for us to live stream 5 hours of just playing nothing but that game.
And on top of that, as you said, with the mods and stuff that we add in, it adds up, makes the game almost new, because you come in with all these new monsters and stuff. It's almost like a new update for the game. So it's like it's constantly growing and changing. Even the game itself gets updates and stuff. It just recently updated it. They added, I think, a new moon is what they call it, which is pretty much just a map. But they added a new moon and they added more creatures in.
Okay.
So when you add that with the mods and stuff, you pretty much have this huge game. Yeah.
I thought about one other game while I'm sitting here. It's not the favorite, but close favorite. And I cannot remember what gaming system it was, but it was the God.
Oh.
PS2,
There was I know
Xbox, original Xbox had it.
I know mine was PS3. It was Godfather 2. That was one of my favorite ones.
They actually, I think, just remastered both of them.
I remember it was a while back that they were talking about it, but yeah, I haven't.
Because I
looked
know they
into it.
remastered Mafia.
Yeah.
Because that fell in line. I don't know if you ever played Mafia, but it fell in line with Godfather. They came out about the same time. And I know they just released the definitive edition of Mafia,
Yeah.
and just completely redid the engine and everything.
Yeah, because I picked it up, I believe, on the PC on that.
I want to say they did it to Godfather 2, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Godfather 2 is probably my favorite out of that series.
That was the one I remember the most time on. I do
game was
remember
a
the
lot better
first
than-
one,
Yeah.
but Godfather 2, I remember just almost repeat, just playing it and changing aspects because you had your customized options and stuff for you and your crew. And that to me, I love. I mean, I would always, every time I would play it, come up with something different.
Yeah.
The game was a lot better than the movies, in my opinion.
I always liked the first Godfather movie. That was my favorite one.
I mean, we usually talk about movies and stuff, and we'll mention either a classic or an OG. And it's like, you can't really badmouth stuff like that. It's like, that was the classic. Like, you can't, I really don't know how to put it. Like, it's a classic. You have to either watch it or just, not like it.
Right.
But I mean, to me, like, I would never badmouth Godfather. Like, the movies and stuff, they are a little slow or whatnot. But watch it and stuff, it's like, okay, well, I put that behind my shoulders. I've seen it now.
Of the three drinks, which one was your favorite?
I liked it on ice.
Was it a good old fashioned, or
It was good.
or was it different because it was like a pre-mixed mixture?
It was the sweet aspect of it. I wasn't a fan of. I'm not so anything real sweet like mixed drinks. Some people like them, some people don't. I'm not a big fan of the ones that have a lot of sugar. So most of the time, like I said, with this, it's my go-to. It's got a little bite to it. Good to go. Make my coffee black. I don't have any sugar in it. Whiskey. Simple guy.
Yeah,
Well, except for these.
How did that not make it as a question? But I will have to agree with you.
What, you're going to ask him what store you went to get that?
I was going to ask him the story behind it. Yeah.
Got several of them. I'll tell you how it started out when I first got asked to announce an event. I'm like, my goodness, Bruce Buffer's awesome. Wow, he's got some nice thread. My oldest son actually had a gold and black jacket like this that he had for some type of high school day. I asked him, could I borrow it? He said yes. Well, it's mine now. He said I could have it. So I asked him where he ordered it. Told me. Ever since now, there's probably 4 or 5 that I have, all ordered. What size or where I order it. Not money's money. So I don't like spending money that much. However, $65 for not necessarily bad.
No, I mean, especially if you get the use out of it and stuff.
I promise you, I'm getting the use out of it. May 11th, NWFA, Northwest Arkansas, people. June 15th, SEFC 30. Right here at the Lander Center. Famous plug, my bad.
Hey, I told you, man. I was all for it. We're all about
Yeah.
helping out other people too at the same time. I'm wearing SAFR merch. That's our gaming community that a buddy of mine owns. And then Tim Chavis, I'm supposed to be plugging him at some point.
You mean Bandit Beast?
Banded Beast. I'm
wow.
waiting for him to come on the podcast. He's given me my merch already, but I'd like to have him here
I think he needs to be
before I
here.
plug him.
Yeah.
You heard that, Tim. You need to be here.
Yep.
My bad. I forgot to. Ryan had told me to tell you. I don't care what you have to say.
It doesn't.
It doesn't matter.
But yes. Yep.
Forgot about that. Sorry, Ryan.
Lost it.
Well, let's end her. Please do the honors and pour what you think is a decent share.
Yeah.
Oops.
Oh, you're good.
Woo.
Decent share.
That is going to be, dude. That is going to be filled up before our New Year's.
Oh yeah.
You might need a bigger
Stream.
bottle.
Well, we've got a clear one over there too. That one
wow.
it needs to be filled up before the whiskey needs to be filled up. That one's coming out in July if it gets filled up. We will have a 4th of July special. This one is for our New Year's Eve special.
Ooh.
So she's going to sit in that bottle for
Yeah.
the next, what, 9 months?
Something like that. Yeah.
You know what you need? Eat them.
That wouldn't be bad.
Let it
Age it,
tap.
age it some
Let it
more.
tap.
Ooh.
Let the whiskey age some more. Get a hydrometer and proof it and see how much the alcohol
Hey, I'd be
content
down.
out of it is has went up.
Not saying too much, but I know where you can get some metal there.
Well, I don't. It's not going to age in a metal barrel. Is it? I don't.
You're
To me, yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know if I want to use that.
Uh-huh.
Anyways, guys, it was nice having you on, David. We appreciate you coming. Till next time, I'm the Delta BB.
I'm Honor.
We'll catch you later.
You don't even just mention him.
That's okay.
Wow. Just,
Hi, man.
cheers.